I've had a hard time trying to figure out how to start this. I know I have to go over my family's history and how I got here, but it's hard trying to find the right words to start a video like this. Do I go all serious with this, or do I make this a lighthearted video? I think the second option feels right when it comes to how my family is. Funny, lighthearted, sarcastic. So, let's try that and see how it goes. Okay. It's Tuesday, January 9th, 2001. Destiny's Child's Independent Woman Part 1 is the #1 song in the US. Bill Clinton is the President of the United States for about 9 more days. The movie Traffic is topping the box office. I've never heard about this movie until I searched it up, but the poster looks cool, and so it has my approval. But the most important thing to happen that day was this guy right here. Dylan LeBron was born. Look at this guy, what a cutie. In order to figure out how this fashionable young man was brought into this world, we gotta go back to the people in his life that shaped him to the man that he is today. The man that's making this video right now. So, let's start with my grandparents. My grandpa, Fructuoso Cardona Jr., or as people in his neighborhood call him, Frank, and my grandma, Juana Cardona. These two are the best grandparents anyone could ask for. My grandpa came to the U.S. Actually, it's better if he tells it. It's his story after all.
When I came from Puerto Rico, my grandson was in 1956. My father brought me here, 1956. And when I left from Puerto Rico, I was very sad because I was like a teenager at that time. And because I left my mother in Puerto Rico, I just came with my father to the United States just to visit. I never know that I'm gonna stay here forever. But what happened, they put me to school here on the 6th grade. And I was so stranger because I don't speak English. All my life in Puerto Rico, from I was born to 13 years old when I came. I was 13 years old and was very sad.
After he was acclimated in New York, he got the call to study the Bible, wanting to follow in his father's footsteps. So that's what he did. He went to Puerto Rico to go to the seminary to study the Bible. When he came back to the U.S., he proposed to my grandmother. He would go on to become the pastor of a Smyrna Christian church in Manhattan. During this, in 1968, they had my Uncle Benny, and would have 2 more children, my Mom Caroline and my Aunt Marilyn. It was no question to my grandfather that his kids would be raised in the church.
Oh, in church, serving the Lord, the principal, And I used to do in my house, my service in the morning with them when I had little kids, and grow like that. And I'm very proud for your mother, Dylan, Benny, my first son, Caroline, your mother, my second daughter, and Marilyn, she's my third daughter, and she's a teacher in school right now. And you in college, my grandson. I'm very proud for you.
Now, on to my parents, Junior and Caroline. Both of my parents grew up in the church, and that's actually where they met.
We met in church, yeah. I was a teenager. I was about 16 years old. He was a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
He started coming to church, but there was no romance. It was just, we were friendly towards each other. And a few years later, I would say I was about 21, I was maid of honor at my best friend's wedding, and he was an invited guest. And we just started talking, and he asked me out on a date. Well, he said he would call me, and he did.
I did, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. But actually, that is so true. But the main thing was, in that reception, which I told a friend of ours as she was walking away, I'm going to marry that girl. And he looked at me like I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
he told me.
After my mom and dad had their wedding, and the most 90s wedding video of all time, I mean, look at this. It opens up with the Muppets.
Somebody, 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 somebody. Somebody get some flowers. Somebody get a ring. Somebody get a camel and a choir to sing. Somebody get an organ to play. 'Cause somebody's getting married today. Somebody get a preacher. Somebody make it big. Somebody get some shoes and write some presents to take. Somebody get a sweet necklace.
Then Cinderella. And then there's an own section for the Macarena. I mean, this is incredible stuff. And I have to stop myself before I go in depth and dissect like it's a feature film. My parents were married in 97. They lived their life, and I came into the picture in 2001.
Well, I raised my nieces with my parents, and a lot of my friends were having kids already, so I couldn't wait to be a father. Like, I knew I was ready. I was ready to take it on.
You actually had just lost your dad.
And I just lost my dad. Exactly a year.
No. We had just buried your dad.
Oh, that's right.
And the day after we buried your grandfather, that was when I found out that I was pregnant with you. So it was very emotional.
Yes, it was.
But how did I feel? You know, I'm younger. I'm a little bit younger than your dad. So I was excited, but I was also very nervous. Because I felt like, wow, you know, I'm going to be taking care of another little human being. And my sister would always tease me and say, I can't believe you're going to be in charge of a person. And so it was funny, but at the same time, it was like, yeah, she's right, you know, but it just kicks in. And thankfully it did.
My childhood was full with timeless memories and laughs. And I got to share those laughs and memories with somebody else in 2008. My little brother Jacob was brought into this world, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, man.
So, Mike, your brother?
You're good.
Like, what about me makes me good?
You're always there for me when I need you, and you're just, yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
You're funny.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So, what was it like, you know, growing up?
It was fun. We always went out. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
As I close out this Sammy documentary, I look back on everything I've recorded and all the pictures I've seen over the last week, 2 weeks, and I feel a sense of sadness because I can't go back and relive those moments. I feel a sense of nostalgia, obviously, but I'm also happy. I'm happy that I got the family that was meant for me. I wouldn't be the person I am today without these people. I get my drive from my grandparents and my parents. I get my sense of humor and sarcasm from my parents as well. And Jacob always keeps me on my toes, as you saw in the interview. And I really couldn't be the person I am today without them. And yeah, that's my family.